All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Friends, new friends, family, everyone at home watching on live stream. My name is Khan. I'll talk to you about AI in photography today. Is there anyone in this room who likes photography? Is there anyone in this room who hates photography? Otherwise, you're in the wrong room. Okay? This is good. Next, I'd like to go over quickly. Hold on, the screen might be freeze. Just try to change it. Just one second. Okay. Oops. Just bear with me. I cannot move it. Okay, sorry about that. There's a bit of technical issue. Quickly, this is the outline for today. As you may know, there are many aspects of AI in photography. We will focus on AI camera and AI in editing software since we don't have 3 hours today. So, quick introduction about myself. I'm from Thailand. I also had an opportunity to attend high school in New Zealand. And later on, I came to Japan on scholarship program provided by Panasonic International Foundation to study my master's degree here. Professionally, I had a lot of experience in human resources assessment and recruiting. I'm also a professional photographer. And now I'm doing a software engineering course at Code Chrysalis, the best bootcamp in the world. Fun fact. Do you know how many photos were taken every year? 1980, 25 billion photos were taken that year. Not too bad. 1990, we took 57 billion photos that year. Getting better. 2000, 80 billion photos. Just a note here. In 1999, Canon, Nikon, one of them, actually introduced the first commercial digital camera. So from the year 2000 onward, it's like the beginning of digital photography. 2010, 300 billion photos, a sharp rise. Also, Facebook was introduced in 2004, which also contributed to the number of photos taken. Guess what? By the end of 2018, oh my goodness. Congratulations, everyone. You contribute to 1.2 trillion photos. That's a lot of photos and a lot of zeros. Part of it is due to the boom of smartphones. Where everyone has an easy access to the social media by using your smartphone. So basically, just anyone, everyone, take photo anytime, anywhere. Why does it matter? Because now, in 2019, the digital photography market size is about 70 to 80 billion US dollars. By 2026, it is anticipated to double to about 140 to 150 million dollars. So as the market grows, the industry grows, there will be more job opportunities. It's not only for hobby photography, but also other applications. For example, healthcare. Because of AI camera and imaging technology, it helps doctors to analyze patients quicker to save life. Also, security matters. For example, police in China, they are testing. They have this very cool AI-powered sunglasses that actually equipped with the criminal record. So if they look at you, for example, this gentleman, they're like, oh, this person has a criminal record. So they can identify him right away. Just an example. He's a very nice man. All right. Moving on, I want to talk a little bit about the current and recent advancement of cameras. Now there are 3 things that most traditional camera makers are focusing on. Camera, obviously, lens, and sensor. Of course, in order to make better lens, better sensor, you could come up with larger lens, larger sensor. But it's not it's not likely because at this age, you don't want to carry like this size of camera or smartphone, right? Yeah, you have to put it on the backpack and go somewhere. So that's the challenge. How do you advance those kinds of technology in a smaller setup? Therefore, they are focusing on the camera and AI. For example, in terms of smartphone, Apple, Google, Samsung, you can name them. Most of them have pretty similar technology in terms of the camera itself, the lens, or the outside that I would say more or less like commodities. But what matters is, in case of Apple, they are trying to customize the chipset that they use in the phone. And within this chipset, there's a special portion called the neural engine, which is reserved for AI, artificial intelligence tasks. So this neural engine is a magician. So it determines whether the photo you take is really good, is so-so. So this is why it leads that the future is code. Because everything else is commodity. How do you compete against other brands? How do you advance your product? It goes into the software, which is that magician I was talking about, which later I will demonstrate in the later slide how it works in a simple. A bit of fun fact and also case study about the traditional camera makers versus smartphone. You could argue with me. Why are you comparing camera and smartphone? It's like comparing a microwave to a car. But I have a set of data that it's pretty relevant, and we'll see what happened. So this is a graph of the worldwide shipment of cameras from 1951 until 2018. For 60 years, from 1950 to 2010, the traditional camera makers were in a healthy business. They reached the peak in 2010 with 121 million cameras sold. A note here, in 2008, the touchscreen smartphone was introduced. 2010, it was Instagram. We'll see what happened. After 2010, you can see a sharp drop here. It was dropped by 84%. Part of this, or mostly all of it, was from a steep decline of sales of camera with built-in lens, which usually used by casual photographers. And now, a lot of people switch to smartphone. Quick tip here, don't give your camera to a monkey. They won't do good. And unexpected competition. When the smartphone was introduced to the market in 2008, the camera makers, they were doing fine. They didn't see that there was a huge risk coming. The traditional camera maker were focusing on stuff like, image stability and all like the sideline feature. They didn't dig too much into like AI and how software really can turn it upside down. This is what happened. When they intersect, according to the graph, in about 2011, that's where smartphone and camera sale met for the first time. After that, it was a totally different story. Smartphone reached the peak in around 2016, 2017 with 1.2 billion smartphones sold versus 121 million cameras sold during the peak. Back then, in 2008, the camera on smartphones were no match to the digital camera. The image quality sucks. But soon after, because of the advanced development of AI, the camera on smartphone could match the traditional digital camera, especially in two areas. First, in terms of depth of field, and second, the low light performance. Those are the game changers. All right. Also, another graph to demonstrate that This is a data from Flickr. It's a photo sharing platform. As you can see the graph here, about 50% of photos uploaded by user were from smartphone. And also the camera brand that hobby and pro photographers use, apparently, is Apple with 54%. So you can see who's dominating the game here. You can take a guess. One of these photos was taken by an iPhone 11 Pro, and one was taken by Canon 5D Mark IV, which is a top-line professional grade made by Canon. Which one do you think was taken by an iPhone? Come on, it's so obvious. Any guess? One? One? Okay. Two? It's number one. To be honest, there's no difference. I cannot tell. To be honest, it gets to the point that it's so close that even a pro photographer cannot really see. I have to be honest. I use a microscope to see. Second, one of these was taken by Google phone. Another one was taken by Canon 80D or something like that. Number one for Google. Number two for Google. Why? Exactly. The Google night sight offer an amazing low light performance. So these two slides actually demonstrated how smartphones really catch up in terms of depth of field, low light performance. It's not even competing, they already surpass it. Right? Wait a minute, what's AI? So in a broad term, AI is a branch of computer science that tries to teach computer to think, learn, and behave like human. But instead of simply being coded to do a particular job, AI camera device are actually programmed in such a way that it learn and also adapt to the user behavior and pattern. To elaborate a little bit more, heavy lifting is the key. The AI knows the camera setting, it knows the image processing, it knows about white balance, aperture. I don't know what those mean. As a user, I want to take a great photo to show my friend, to show my grandma, to make myself proud. I don't care about all the setup. So when you point the camera from your smartphone at the scene, the AI behind that will automatically tweak the setting. It will make sure that you get the best killer shot with the lighting, with the cool filter effect. It does the what we call automatic scene recognition. It's a more complicated method than what it sounds like, but for example, all those like color enhancement, skin tone smoothing, it's all like AI work. That's why when you take photo with different phone, you might see yourself look a bit because each phone is programmed or coded differently. Google may have their sort of code that they want to make people look like. Apple will do sort of different thing. I will show a bit of code in a minute. Also, the machine learning. The smartphone maker actually use this machine learning technique to develop the image recognition, which make use of that neural engine, the magician I talked about. It trained the machine to see like millions of images, so that the machine can look for the visual clues at the pixel level. And as time progresses, the algorithm gets better and better in recognizing objects and the scene. The second point, you might have heard about this, a lot of people are talking about it, computational photography. What it means, it refers to the digital image capture or processing technique that use digital computation instead of optical process. So it's optical versus computational. For example, if you own Apple iPhone 11 Pro, sorry, I'm not selling Apple here. I think it's an obvious example. It has a lot of cameras. I don't know how many, was it 2 or 3? These cameras, they don't just say that. They actually communicate with each other. When you take photos, maybe one lens communicates with another lens, it passes the image data to the next lens, enhance the data, pass it to the next one. And then as a user, you get this amazing result. That is not possible with the optical process without computation. Google, the Pixel Night site, work pretty much the same way. It stacks a lot of images in one scene. When you take photo at night, I think it goes up to about 15 frames, and then they stack it up. They pull the shadow from one photo, they pull the highlight from another photo. Boom, you get one perfect night photo. That's computation photography. Just a quick code to demonstrate. Computational photography is about transforming the image using algorithm. So it's like a set of routine that the computer perform. Imagine when you want to create a packaged good. Let's say when you start your production, the good will go through the conveyor belt. You go to station 1, station 2, station 3, and then you get your final product. Pretty much similar to computational photography. This is a snippet written in Python. It's very simple. So when you take a photo, for example, the machine will create a raw file, and then it will open the bitmaps, look at the pixel, and then it will quickly do the enhancement, apply sharpening filter, brightness, etc. But due to the fast processor we have today, it performs this all step very quickly, so that you don't realize when you click and you get the image that it does all these things. But in real life, of course, this would be much more complicated. And just for your information, Python is a great resource for image processing. They have, I think, 10 plus robust library that I've known of to perform this sort of task. We're not going to talk about Python today. Next, I also want to introduce you to the AI-powered editing software. These days, there are many sort of like AI photo editing software. For example, on your phone, after you take photo and you click edit, that the magic wand thing. That's what it does. It automatically adjusts like brightness, color, etc. But we're not going to look at that. Just an introduction to Deep Angel. I didn't create this. This was developed by MIT Media Lab. What it does is, it's the AI that erases objects from photographs. Sounds normal. But the thing is, this app actually detects an outline object that it already knows. So the app actually knows what it is. And then it removes the object, and it imagines what would the photo look like without those objects. Here, let's say I want to remove person from this example photo. So Deep Angel actually knows what persons look like. It removes automatically, and it recreates the scene without people object in it. So this is sort of like the future of photo editing software that, it will keep learning, and then it knows exactly what it needs to do. I have a little more interactive photo editing software. Again, another software developed by MIT and IBM Watson. This is a joint research effort to tackle the AI in advanced imaging technology. Let me show you quickly. Can you see? Okay, it's a little small. Okay. So here, it looks like a normal pen app, but it doesn't just pen. The program actually knows what are these objects and what it's supposed to do. For example, here, I just want to draw a tree. It's a tree. So it knows that, oh, okay, I need to draw a tree. And then it's like, okay, I want to put some grass on this. So it's just like what? Oh, not bad. And it's like, okay, I want more doors. So it's just going to paint door here. So as I keep using, the program actually learns what I want to do, and it learns the object that I work with. You can make more domes here as well. Why not? Need more dome here. Well, I need one more. Fabulous. So this is pretty cool. I can keep doing this all day. Which I'm not going to do it. So this is just an example of what the future may look like for your editing software. You may not have to do all this yourself. Perhaps you can just code. Computer, please create my photo at night in front of Eiffel Tower. Boom, you got it. Then, that brings me to the question, what will the future look like? Well, in any industry, the benefit of AI is to make our life easier. It simplifies the process of taking and managing photos. In this case, I think we need to harmonize and learn how to use this tool to make our life easier and work in a more efficient way. It definitely helps us to make photo look better. Imagine when you go to the mountain at night, you see a beautiful sky, you see a moon, you want to take that photo of beautiful moon. After you take it, disappointing. So the AI will actually bridge that gap. It will help to bridge between what your eyes can see and what the camera can capture. So, you have more sort of better quality of light, better quality of colors, and so forth. And there is no argument that the AI will introduce the bigger breakthrough in the editing capacity. There will be more and more advanced software that can manipulate photo in a way that we cannot even imagine today. So, will there be any photographer left in the world? Absolutely yes. I think there will still be a room for an experienced, well-trained photographer who understand color, composition, emotion to create work with a touch of humanity, at least for the time being. So that concludes my presentation today. If you're interested, here are the links, or you can ask me later of resources that I use. And thank you very much for your time today.